and welcome everyone to Style Esports Season 9 playoffs. My name is RareAdam. Alongside me tonight is True Tobago here, and we are bringing you pretty high-level matchup here. It's our 5th seed versus our 8th seed, Madison Feta versus Stevens Lol Gray, coming on in here. Best of 3 series, round 1 in, of course, the uncapped playoffs. Super excited to see what we've got in store here. We're already into picks and bans, but True Tobago, how are you today?
Feeling great, and yeah, these bans are going fairly how I expected, especially on the side of Madison Feta. Really strong focus towards the jungle, trying to target out the Masters tier jungler Poochiness there on the red side for Stevens Lol Gray. And yeah, hey, there's the Seraphine ban. Rejoice, everybody. No Seraphine this game.
Yeah, we were talking right before that both Fuzzy Bunny and Zach there in the bot lane, or in the support positions, they both play Seraphine, and I was like, no, I don't want to see a Seraphine today. But speaking of female champions that can go either mid or support, we've got Lux already locked in here for Madison Feta.
Yeah, Lux, classical, like, I guess you could refer to her as artillery mage or zone mage. Like, you have so much control with this Lucian singularity, but also more recently, not in addition to that E getting buffed, her ultimate cooldown got reduced by 20 seconds at rank 1, 10 at rank 2, and then her ultimate at the rank 3 is the same. But that early cooldown reduction, so to speak, is absolutely massive. It's huge in the mid lane when you have the econ for more damage, but also for support when you just have it, you know, to throw out pretty much every minute in the early game.
Yeah, and
ooh, Lucian Nami. Pain.
Yeah, Lucian Nami already locked in here by Mental Go Boom and Fuzzy Bunny. One of those trends that we've seen a lot in recent weeks has been picking a very strong bot lane combo if you're on red side on R1-2, and that's Lucian Nami already locked in there. The Caitlyn is locked in for Madison Feta, though, and if you want to talk about strong bot lane combos, Caitlyn Lux is still an option.
Yeah, Caitlyn Lux, definitely versatile. In theory, as long as Lux lands a binding onto either Lucian or Nami, that can set you up into a Yordle Snapchat free headshot proc into into the Piltover Peacemaker in addition to that. And that's a huge amount of damage, especially against squishy targets like Lucian Nami. But this is an equally interesting pick for B3 here. Seeing a Kayn locked in. I don't see that very often. I personally refer to Kayn as like the Yasuo of the jungle. I see my teammates pick it, I get scared because they're always bad with it. I see enemy team pick it, I get scared because they're always good with it.
Yeah, I always see it and I'm like, oh man, it's gonna be someone who's mildly toxic or has very interesting mental capacities, but the Trundle gonna be the answer into that.
Yeah, I mean, Trundle also, like, receiving a number of nerfs, even a couple of patches ago, mainly to Pillar of Ice. That's almost certainly towards the jungle there and like against this Kayn. Technically, it could be flexed to top, but that's something super rare, almost never seen nowadays. And considering the bans, just trying to take away more solo lane options for both teams, I like the Kennen ban. Kennen offers so much versatility, especially into a comp that's as short range as Stevens Lol Gray. Or sorry, not short range, but like it offers so much engage potential. Rather, my bad. But they still lock. Stevens Lol Gray still ends up locking in Camille. Really strong. Blind pick can win almost any 1v1 nowadays in the top lane. But it does give Madison Feta the option to counter pick for top, which is super important as far as matchups are concerned. Whoa, Yumi.
Whoa. Okay, so
it's a Yumi support. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be Caitlyn in the bot lane with the Yumi, and what this might indicate is that we might get ourselves a lethality Caitlyn. Yumi, of course, giving you that flat AD or AP, depending on, of course, the champion, but, you know, a Yumi on top of a Kayn is really annoying already. A Yumi on top of a Caitlyn will help her laning phase, but I'm really worried about a Shadow Assassin Blue Kayn running around the map with a Shen ult on top of them and a Yumi as well, providing all sorts of healing. And Madison Feta, they've got themselves quite the comp going for them already.
Yeah, and even think about something like Yumi hopping onto Lux, making that laser hit even harder in the right situations. The Yumi pick could be devastating, especially when the potential engage for Stevens Lol Gray here is it's monochromatic. They don't have many avenues for engage, and the ones that they do are all very, very straightforward. Camille has the most dynamic engage that they've drafted, and even then, it's not huge. You want a hook shot into a huge Hextech ultimatum in that case, and even then, that might not be enough in the face of something like a Yumi Shen that can answer dive and aggression. And also pairs up with just about every single champion that Maz and Feta have drafted. So really interesting to see how that draft has shaped out. Victor, I think, is something fairly standard. It can match the wave clear that Lux brings to the lane. Also phase rush. Super annoying to play against on that champion because you have so much movement speed.
Yeah, Victor providing a very strong AP threat in that mid lane as well. Come late game, of course, Victor now not needing to have that Hex Core in the inventory. You don't buy it, you just get it off a farm. And the later the game gets, Victor will continue to get stronger, sort of being able to get to that sort of 5.5 item power spike that Cassiopeia gets in that vein. So Victor's going to be incredibly potent come the later stages of this game. I want to take a look back at that bot lane, though. So we do have the answer of Caitlyn Yumi versus Lucian Nami. Caitlyn can struggle into some aggressive matchups, and this is definitely a case where she's not going to have the onus in lane to kind of get that damage down.
Yeah, but what Caitlyn does also bring to lane, in addition to her typical dominance, which gets somewhat mitigated here by that classic Lucian-Nami combo, is that Caitlyn is the longest range AD carry in the game. She brings so much natural safety that it's really, really hard for a pair like Lucian-Nami to get on to a Caitlyn, assuming that the AD carry behind the champion maintains really good spacing. And I would say that Yumi is definitely a champion that can enable that, just off of pressing zoomies, giving all that movement speed. But also Prowling Projectile can be a really potent poking tool and dissuade a lot of aggression. So it's very much in the hands of Hispanic King and Zach to determine how they want to play. I don't think that they can really match the same aggression that Lucian Nami can bring, but they can outpoke them, or they could stay safe from any sort of aggression they want to, bring against this Caitlyn Yumi. I imagine that Caitlyn Yumi, when played properly, is really, really hard to get onto.
Yeah, Caitlyn Yumi, of course, super safe. I think that's the main thing to keep in mind. Yumi, of course, can get punished by some of these champions, though. Trundle, of note, will just be able to drop that pillar, and Yumi might have a little bit of a tough time. So kind of want to take a look at the bot lane with respect to the junglers as well. Kayn and Trundle, both quite good at ganking throughout the game. Where do you think they really turn their eyes, and why are they turning their eyes to bot lane? I guess is my second part of the question.
Well, okay, so I think that in this game, the plan for Madison Esports Feta here is actually have Kayn direct attention to bot lane. And I say that because Lucian and Nami are ranged champions. Victor is also a ranged champion, and we are discussing, how devastatingly powerful a blue Kayn can be in this game. Against squishy champions like the ones that Steven's Law Grey have drafted, blue Kayn can blow them up entirely, which means you want to get that stacking up early. And then in addition to that, you look at the solo lanes they drafted, it's Lux and Shen. Lux and Shen, while they can win their matchups, aren't like, oh, I'm looking to hard win this game. Lux and Shen are like, Shen, you want to scale up to 6. You want to be able to coordinate with your team using Stand United. Lux, I can just wave clear all day. I can just sit in lane. But on the opposite side of that, I would say Steven's Law Grey, they actually want to play for solo lane dominance. Victor, you want to get as many kills as possible onto Victor so he can get those hex core upgrades. You don't want him to just sit in lane and farm. You want him to scale up as fast as possible. But then in addition to that, Camille, super aggressive top laner, especially with hook shot, even able to coordinate with a Trundle in some very interesting and satisfying ways using that ice pillar potentially. So I actually think Steven's Law Grey, they want to play for solo lane dominance through that top side, but then on the other side, Madison Esports want to play towards bot lane and getting this Kayn going.
Yeah, I think that Kane definitely going to be one of those win conditions. We talked about how annoying it would be when you have to deal with a blue Kane and Yumi potentially, but on the flip side, got to keep our eyes out for that Victor. But we'll have to see who we really have to keep our eyes on as the game progresses, because we haven't gotten into game yet, but we will be getting into game rather shortly. We're going to be right back after this short break. Don't go anywhere. Game 1 of Madison Esports Feta versus Steven Lulgray coming up right after this. And welcome back, everyone, to Style Esports Season 9 Playoffs. My name is RareAdam. Alongside me is True Tobaga, and we are on to the Rift with Game 1 of Madison Esports Feta versus Stevens Lol Gray. 5th seed versus the 8th seed here in the first round of playoffs. If you lose this, it's not great. You go to the losers bracket really early. If you win, of course, it's pretty good because then you still have a loss to give. That's how double elimination works, everyone, especially in the first round, but... by the looks of things, gonna start off with a good ol' interesting 5-point start.
Hey, I mean, it's called standard for a reason. That being said, there are things that are a little bit less than standard here. As you pointed out, Camille going for Grasp also has a TP Flash. Typically, you see, like when I see someone like super confident on Camille pick, they go for TP Ignite, they play super aggressively into something as safe as Shen. I can understand, though, maybe going for Grasp, going for something that a little bit slower, a little bit more standard feels safer. But if you're on a lane dominant pick, then, you know, be the lane dominant pick, I guess is the thought in my mind. Otherwise, you did point out that Fuzzy Bunny there on the Nami electing for the Summon Airy over the super aggressive Electrocute. So things a little bit different, although Lucian Nami is still very powerful.
Yeah, Lucian Nami can still do quite a bit with that Airy, of course. Airy, one of the better laning runes in general on any champion because it provides you so much damage and it has a really low cooldown, really just gated by how far away you are from the Airy when it procs. But in this sense here, Fuzzy Bunny could have gone for that Electrocute and get that big level 2 damage down, but by the looks of it, just looks to be standard trading back and forth. I don't think level 2 is even going to get... or level 2 is going to be achieved first. There we go. By the side of Madison Esports Feta. Heavy trading in that mid lane. Both of those mid laners popping through some of those potions. Of note, the side of SLG, Stevens Lol Gray. 4 cookie gamers there.
Shot? Okay. Yeah, as you said, 4 cookie gamers on the side of Stevens Lol Gray, 1 on the side of Madison Esports Feta, so it's 5 all around. 50% of the players in this match are cookie gamers. Yeah, and we shall silently judge them.
Yeah, cookies kind of suck.
Okay, G1. G1's landed in a lot of these bindings, though. Yeah. Like, these are through minions, too. That's actually pretty well done. Normally, you don't see Luxes go for aggressive bindings in lane because when you miss them, that pretty much just means your opponent's going to walk up, start autoing you aggressively. But this is going to be a gank here in the mid lane.
Yeah, speaking of walking up aggressively, Puccin is going to force the flash out of G1 there. Number 2 Ginger unfortunately gets rooted up once again, but my goodness, the trading down in this spot, the trading across the map right now, pretty crazy. Everyone is using their cooldowns, off of cooldown effectively, to try and get as much damage as possible. Really, the only summoner spell used, though, is that flash in the mid lane from G1, who unfortunately forced the flash away from the good old Pillar of Ice.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely really precarious for a champion like Lux to not have flash this early on into the game, especially into something like Trundle that can easily just look for a repeat gank with that Pillar of Ice. But as you said, a lot of trading going on in this game, and I feel like Stevens Lol Gray, they feel very much enabled to just burn through their mana pools because they have biscuits. They go in for these aggressive trades, even if they take harass. Oh, but here's the repeat gank in the mid lane.
Yeah, Puccina is going to try and flash forward onto G1, but Su20 is here as well. Number 2 Ginger over the wall as well. First blood going to be picked up by Puccina as they're going to try and pick up another one. Su20 going to be forced to back off. Going to be the flash from Trundle as well as from number 2 Ginger, but they secure themselves first blood in that mid lane, and Stevens Lol Gray starting off on the right foot.
Yeah, absolutely, and Puccina's just knowing, like, hey, I forced this flash, I can just look here again in a couple of, like what was it, roughly 1 minute after clearing a single camp, and if they find the kill, there's nothing that Su could get done other than, you know, maybe getting some melee stacks off. In bot lane, it looks like Hispanic King and Zac are getting shoved in. There's, engaged in the top lane, a little bit of a trade going.
Yeah, just trading across the map. A Directed Chem loves to just drag us everywhere as Hispanic King takes a decent chunk of damage, and in reality, the main resource bars you have to worry about in that bot lane is Yumi's mana bar and, of course, Caitlyn's health bar, but both of those not in the best of shapes as it stands right now, so Mental Go Boom and Fuzzy Bunny having a really good time in this lane thus far. Almost 20 CS up here. Only 5.5 minutes in.
Yeah, they're really flexing the power of that Lucian Nami. Whoa, Su? Okay.
Okay, yeah, a little bit scary there. I mean, just smited. I don't even know if he can do this, though.
Do it.
Ocean Dragon does a lot of damage! Oh, no!
Dear.
The Rift claims a victim, and Su20... That's unfortunate.
I mean, I think the thing is that... Oh, dear.
Yeah.
That's a fat minion wave. I'm not sure if Latako really wanted to take that. Like, you saw him hook shot in, get the stun. He's like, whoop, I'm going to walk it out now. But yeah, as far as that dragon is concerned, Su20 did start it up. It actually got pinged out from the side of Steven's Lol Gray. They had a ward that just saw him go back in. But considering that they know that the dragon hasn't been taken, I'm going to... like, they should know that Su had to walk out at the very least. When they see that Su died, that'll be a nice little morale boost. It's like, guys, look, he died doing the track.
Yeah, sometimes you just look at the scoreboard and you're like, why is he dead?
Huh.
What happened here? And as a support main from jungle before, it has happened before. It happens to the best of us, happens to the worst of us, of course. But Puchin is going to sort of say, I know how to take this objective. It's called Bring All My Friends Over after getting lane priority. Going to be first dragon picked up by the side of Steven's Lol Gray as well. And despite the side of Madison Esports Feta having a little bit of that rank advantage coming in as the 5th seed, Steven's Lol Gray looking pretty good in this early game, up almost 1,000 gold.
Yeah, they've been looking, fairly clean overall. As another extended trade happening here in the top lane. Oof. That's why you gotta be careful about Shen, man. You get taunted, easy pass through on the Spirit Blade, and it's like you lose half your health bar all of a sudden. But yeah, as you said, Steven's Lol Gray doing quite well for themselves. Whoa, that's a flash engage.
Speaking of which, Cloudfield gonna do the taunt flash under the tower. Latako is trying to pick this one up. It will be a 1-for-1 on the top side of the map. Latako will at least claim a victim, as very good Hextech ultimatum to dodge away from that last little bit of damage from Su20. It is the flash burn from Cloudfield and only the ultimate from Latako, so overall, still a positive trade for the side of Steven's Lol Gray.
Yeah, I mean, trading 1-for-1 in that situation where you're getting dove under turret feels really, really good. And the only thing I can assume is that they were hoping, like, okay, Su can pick up this kill. I'll use Stand United to give him an additional shield to survive a last turret shot, but it just takes a little bit too long. At the very least, you don't have to burn the Shen ultimate, but definitely not great to have a 1v2 turret dive go 1-for-1 in trade.
Yeah, you definitely want to get the kill and not die. That is how dives are supposed to work most of the time. Sometimes you're okay going 1-for-1 if it's a shutdown or something. That wasn't a shutdown. That was just trying to get Latako a little further behind. But as we were saying, Shen does a decent amount of damage in that early game. Can be surprisingly potent in terms of laning.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see Cloudfield does have that Bomby Cinder completed now. So if he can take an extended trade versus Latako, especially with those Spirit Blade pullbacks, can be really, really favorable for the Shen. But one thing I do think is really important to point out here is Fuzzy Bunny's itemization this early on into the game, getting that Oblivion Orb to neutralize the healing that Zac is bringing to the table through this Yumi. But then also, because, let's assume that Su is going to go for Red Cane, you definitely want to have those Grievous Wounds in your pocket as early as possible. So I like that move from Fuzzy Bunny here on the Nami, trying to neutralize and make sure that the Grievous Wounds gets in early.
Yeah, get it in as quickly as possible, and even with the laning situation right now, Zac wasn't able to pick up anything that, or anything of that value either. Really only got that Amplifying Tome and the Fairy Charm as opposed to the completed Oblivion Orb on Nami's side. And even in terms of the AD carry itemizations, it's Pickaxe versus the completed Noon Quiver already. So thus far, Lucian has had the upper hand in this lane, about 2 waves. But Puchinus is going to try and fight Su here. And Trundle will win early, no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, you also did see number 2 Ginger and Latako walking in. Oh, that's a fight in the bot lane?
Yeah, Culling going to be pushed through as well as that tidal wave. Here comes the final chapter as well. Ace in the Hole is available, will not be used, though, as final spark in the mid lane as well onto G1 as they try and clear out that wave. Great light binding onto Puchinus, but the flash, as soon as it's back up, is taken down by Puchinus. And Hispanic King as well on the bot side, forced to use both of those summoners, as across the map, Steven's Law Grey have been doing quite well in lanes, burning summoners, but still not that many kills for them.
Yeah, and at that point though, you do have to just keep applying pressure. You force out the flash, and you just have to call your jungler to come in, or even in a more dynamic sense, you could all call a TP from your top or mid laner. Lataco and number 2 Ginger do have that tool available to them, although Lataco's is down for at least another 2.5 minutes or so. But to recap some of the action there, as you were saying, Flash is getting forced in mid lane. G1 had to flash immediately, because after you get popped up by the ice pillar, there is that really meaty slow attached to it, and then the gravity well on top of that. You don't flash, you're going to get stunned up, and the Chaos Storm is available, so G1 instant flashes there. Very well done. For Hispanic King, it was also a really, really precarious situation, because as you said, the final chapter did get called in, and there were the roots going through, but if Hispanic King didn't flash there, he'd actually have eaten an Aqua Prison from Fuzzy Bunny, and that could spell the end, for the Caitlyn, if those roots aren't meaningful enough. So really good flash usage from the side of Madison Esports Feta, but it does leave this Caitlyn and this Lux vulnerable to ganks.
Yeah, and thus far, the main thing to keep in mind across the map is just the fact that there is not a whole lot going on in terms of kills, in terms of objectives even, but it's just a whole lot of trading back and forth. Speaking of objectives, I kind of cast occurs. There is, right off the bat, it's going to be, once again, Steven's Law Grey looking for this dragon. As up on the top side, though, Cloudfield getting a decent chunk out. Going to be dragon taken by Pucciness here. Light Binding will only land onto Fuzzy Bunny, but that's a key target there. Hispanic King is on that backside, picks up 1 kill already, but number 2 Ginger going to turn around. Su20 now looking for the play with the Stand United on top. Pucciness is going to get rooted up. Going to be Su20 actually not getting the Stand United through because it is canceled, but G1 going to pick up a kill with that final spark. And despite that dragon being taken by the side of Steven's Law Grey, they lose 2 members. And for the first time all game, Madison Esports Feta showing a little bit of signs of life.
Yeah, absolutely. Hispanic King and Zach finding a fantastic opportunity themselves with that final chapter. The Yumi pick being super huge, finding those roots and getting themselves the opportunity. Fuzzy Bunny got taken out almost instantly with the root into the Yordle Snap Trap, giving so much damage to Hispanic King. But one interesting interaction that did happen in that fight was that Hispanic King had Ace in the Hole queued up. Oh, Sue?
Yeah,
he's gonna be fine.
Yeah, he'll be able to get out of there. Final spark coming down onto Fuzzy Bunny, taking out 500 health. Lux is
that's
balanced.
The power of early game Lux ult now.
Lux is balanced.
G1's about to hit, or should be hitting level 11 relatively soon. That cooldown just gets lower and lower as time goes on. But yeah, just to finish the thought, number 2 Ginger actually used Chaos Storm to interrupt the Ace in the Hole that would have killed Pucciness sooner. So it was a really good usage of that Victor ultimate. Oh, this might be a solo kill in the top lane, though.
Yeah, Cloudfield is in trouble. Oh, but a great Spirit's Refuge there. Gonna be able to save Cloudfield. Lataco showing why they take the flash to potentially chase down that last auto attack. But unfortunately, the outplay from Cloudfield gonna make sure that the Shen stays alive.
Yeah, with all the power of hitting a nope button, Cloudfield is just able to stay alive there. And as you said, forced out the flash from the Camille, but that champion's still hyper mobile with the hook shot available. But, that being said, as far as gold is concerned, it has swung in the favor of Madison Esports Feta, who just a couple of minutes ago were at a 1k gold deficit, and now they're roughly at a 1k gold advantage as we find ourselves walking into a pause here.
Yep, and of course, always have to remember with pauses that I have to hide the screen, because if it is a pause longer than 3 minutes, then we're starting to break some rules, and that's a no-no here, of course, but hopefully we'll be able to get back into it as soon as possible. But Chutabaga, thus far, it's been pretty close. Never really getting anywhere beyond a 1,000 gold difference either way.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been like a kill here, a kill there. But as far as the neutral objective game is concerned, it is very much in the favor of Steven's Law Grey, right? They're the ones who have gotten the single stack Ocean, the single stack Cloud, and it's an Infernal map. Inferno can really help you close out games. He can help you snowball things along the way. But that being said, really these teams seem very even as far as fighting is concerned. I will say though that in the one skirmish that we've had the opportunity to see, Madison Esports Feta seemed very, very coordinated, right? Like Sue, as well as G1 playing back, allowing Hispanic King and Zach to find the Yumi ultimate, get the roots down, and then as for they re-engaged, they fought, and then they punished. You even saw Cloudfield channel to stand united to make sure the Hispanic King stayed alive, but it did get canceled by Latako's hook shot.
Just as we get back into game shortly here, just got to make sure that we don't have any of the usual spectator bugs that sometimes happen when things happen. That's what happens. Mm-hmm. Things happen, and then things happen, and then it's no fun. So...
Oh, yeah, hitting that typical pause from after a in-game pause.
And for the record, True Tobago, I am paused at 14:25, and we will sync back up just to make sure that we're all on the same page.
Okay, 1 second. 14:25. Okay, I'm paused there as well.
And as we get back to live in 3, 2, 1, as we play, we will be able to get back into game. Oh my goodness, I just forgot that there's always a stinger that happens when we get back into game. So all of that is going to be hidden for the time being as Hispanic King clears out a ward. Woo! And we're back into it with a 1,000 gold lead at 14:47, 48, 49 for the side of Madison Esports Feta as they continue to try and push forward. The advantage that they got off of that last dragon fight, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very, big advantage, to be said there when you get a swing like that. But it was Steven's Law Gray that were able to get the objective. Ooh, fight here in the top lane.
Yeah, Cloudfield's in a little bit of trouble. Doesn't have that flash up and available. Sue is going to be in the area, but it won't be enough. And Puchin is going to drop down the subjugation onto Sue 20, going to force them to back off. So that's going to be a kill on to Puchinus once again, getting the kill on Cloudfield there as they're able to even it up just a little bit, give that Camille a little bit more pressure and presence up on that top side.
Yeah, absolutely, and it really does seem like Steven's Little Gray, they want to play as aggressively as they can, considering that this Camille should be getting going. Already has that Divine Sunder completed, so should very much be enabled to play aggressively into a Shen, even with that Sunfire cape completed. But otherwise, we can take a quick inventory of the mythic items getting completed on the map here. You can see Gore Drinker in Sue's inventory, as well as a second Divine Sunder completed for Puchinus. Does make sense. Trundle loves to have a Sheen item. His ultimate also still does magic damage, so the stat doesn't go to waste. A little bit of a trade here maybe in the top lane.
Yeah, a little bit of a trade as Latako and Cloudfield going back and forth, as top laners do. Cloudfield actually getting the better of this trade thus far, despite the Divine Sunder for Latako. They will be forced to back off. That's the power of Shen. If you get those Spirit Blade pass-throughs, you do 5% plus a bit of your health, I believe, as well, in terms of max health damage. So it is a decent chunk for Latako to have to deal with, but Puchinus just posturing in this mid lane. The troll goes where he pleases.
Yeah, I mean, in addition to that, I think Hispanic King did eat a little bit of damage. Oh, Puchinus.
Puchinus hiding. Actually going to be hit by that light binding, and all of a sudden, Su20 and G1 are able to turn that around. My goodness, that's Puchinus just taken off of the map right before their potential soul point, so it's going to be a great pick for this side of Madison Esports Feta. They should be able to pick up this dragon without too much of a contest.
Yeah, absolutely, and they are able to nab that up for themselves, get those Infernal Drakes stacking up. And I think one thing super important to look at, right, this is Yumi, right, a champion that gives additional stats based on the stats that they have and the stats that whoever they're hopped on has. And Infernal does give stacking AD and AP, so the stacking nature that comes to the table when you have Infernal Drakes and Yumi it can get really, really, really scary to play against, especially if you're in the position that Madison Esports Feta is, where you don't have a single dragon and you can stack up to 4. Things can get really huge just off of that alone. And hey, look, you were right. On that skin, red cane is blue. So.
Yeah, red cane's blue for some reason. It's odd, and still to this day, you cannot tell which form Kane is going to go to while they're going into the transformation. But here comes Su20, going to be going untargetable for a little bit, has the Shen ultimate on top, but all of a sudden, there are 4 members of the side of Stevens Law Gray. 5 members here at this Rift Herald for picking up 3 kills. That's a pretty good play as Su20 goes a little bit too deep. And despite them picking up that Infernal Dragon, they're going to throw at the next objective, this second Rift Herald, which will be picked up by the side of Stevens Law Gray.
Yeah, and I think, if you are the side of Madison Esports Feta here, you're breathing a little bit of a sigh of relief. Not because, like, oh man, we just lost 3, but we lost 3 and the Baron hasn't spawned yet. Because if that were 20 minutes and your jungler, your support, and your top laner get caught out there, an absolute disaster situation. Whoa.
Yeah, lots of damage coming down on either side there as number 2 Ginger disappears.
Yeah, I mean, full Lux combo. There's not really much of a way for Victus to survive that with 0 defensive stats in his pocket. But it's always something scary to behold when you just see a Lux completely one-shot, or at least one rotation combo someone down.
Yeah, as a Lataco... Yeah, might be in trouble. Not a whole lot of mana. Su20 going to get that knock-up. Cloudfield trying to follow there, but a great flash from Lataco to dodge away from that. Oh, the taunt going to stop up the second hook shot twice in a row for Cloudfield. They've got all of the mechanics on point, and they're going to be able to give that kill over to Su20 here, I believe. Or actually, no, that goes to Cloudfield themselves. So, well-deserved kill there.
That was a dirty taunt to stop that hook shot.
It was 2 in a row as well. That they did.
Yeah, and not just that, like that's the way you have to do it for Camille specifically, because Camille, if you CC her before the hook lands to pull her to the terrain, she'll get out of it because she gets pulled to the terrain. So you have to wait for the hook to hit, and that's exactly what Cloudfield did. And yeah, it completely ruined Lataco's day right there. Really good read from Cloudfield's Shen. But I do think that something that Cloudfield wants to keep in mind is you only have armor built. Oh, dear.
Oh, speaking of someone who doesn't have a whole lot of defensive stats, that's Nami turned into Sushi as topside, actually. Number 2 Ginger going to reply with the same thing as Shen builds more armor. That's how you survive the victor, you know? Actually, and then builds a null magic mantle just
Hey, look, every champion has auto attacks, okay?
Yes.
We need armor for the auto attacks.
Yes, all of those 20 damage Victor auto attacks coming through. Meanwhile, his Q does like 400 damage. But regardless, 1 for 1 once again on the map as Gold is still staying really close despite the slight advantage in terms of neutral objectives coming for the side of Stevens Law Gray. You can see in terms of the CS in that mid lane specifically, this Lux, now 2 completed items, is starting to take flight here, and that's someone you've got to be so careful of, especially if you're Lucian, taking half your health from 1 Lucent Singularity.
Yeah, I mean, you can see here in G1's inventory, not only is the Ludens completed, but the Horizon focus as well. So pretty much as long as she lands her E and the target's super far away, she just pops it, take a huge amount of damage. I think the damage modification is like, what, 15%? 10%? 10% increase.
Is it 10%?
No, it's 115 ability power. It's 10% increased damage.
10% increased damage over 100 or over 700 range, or if they get immobilized, which
Su face checking.
Yeah, Su might actually be in trouble. Chaos Storm already put down here. There is a Stand United coming through as well as the Cloudfield gets a great 3-man taunt coming through, and this might be enough. Cloudfield gonna pick up the first one, and Su gets a huge amount of healing from that Gore Drinker flashing around. Great play coming out from Su to stay alive as Hispanic King is able to stay alive as well. It is a 3-for-1 as the only fatality thus far is that Shen. Mental Go Boom will go down as well, but Su20 will stay alive. Victor picks up the Caitlyn to pick up that double kill, but it is an ace for the side of Madison Esports Feta. And somehow at the end of that, the Kane's still alive. He won't be down a dragon this time around.
Yeah, I mean, it looked so bad for Su and Zack. They face checked again. They were getting dogpiled on, but Sue was like, wait, I have Umbral Trespass. My Shen is channeling Stand United on me. He goes untargetable, heals up so much, not only with the ultimate, but as you said, the Gore Drinker, as well as just the fact that you are Red Kayn. You have so much healing. And look at the only sources of grievous wounds that are on the side of Steven's Law Grey, right? You have a Bramble Vest on Poochiness, and you have the what's it called? Chemtech Putrefier. I almost said Purifier. Whoops. But Putrefier on the side of Fuzzy Bunny. Fuzzy Bunny also has Ignite. But the thing is that until your healing is really starting to scale up as Nami, that grievous wounds added in for your teammates isn't going to feel super significant. And the other thing is that none of the other damage dealers on your team have grievous wounds built or in their kits. So once Fuzzy Bunny goes down, once Poochiness has to start walking away, at that point, Sue is like, okay, I can just start heal tanking you guys. And that's exactly what he does. And he's going to keep doing it with that Spirit Visage completed in his inventory now.
Yeah, and I think that one of the main things to keep in mind through all of that is, despite Nami having probably the best Grievous Wounds item in the game, especially for an Enchantress where you can spread that to multiple members at the same time, she doesn't have that Moonstone yet, which is what you generally see as that combination. You're able to spread it to a whole bunch of other members, and even in this case, you want that Imperial Mandate, so until you're able to get to that stage where you're getting a lot of procs on your Chemtech Putrefier as G1 Force to flash away from a very scary Chaos Storm, you know, there's not a whole lot of Grievous Wounds, as you're saying, and this Kayn is definitely going to take advantage of that, considering they did go for Red Kayn. But Latako, ooh, that's a nice Cho'Gath ultimate on that Q there.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you have to be so scared of against Camille, because Camille, it feels like, hey, like, I can deal with Camille. Like, she's not doing that much damage, and half my health bar's gone.
Yeah,
like,
that's what happens.
But otherwise, you know, really, like, strong team fighting thus far coming out from Madison Esports Feta here. We saw that at, I think it was the Cloud Drake that was being taken, and we saw that once again here at this second Infernal that they got into their pockets. They look just so coordinated. Now, granted, they're playing on a little bit of a knife's edge there because Sue almost went down, but ooh, might be Cloudfield's turn.
Yeah, Cloudfield gonna try and taunt out of there. Gets the taunt onto Latako, but is yanked right back. Poochiness gonna drop that Chilling Smite just to confirm that kill, and Poochiness will be able to pick up their third kill of the game. So, despite Steven's Law of Grey having a little bit of a rough fight around that second dragon, they are still looking strong. Mental Go Boom with the great culling to zone out G1 as Final Spark finally not gonna land. And man, this is on a knife's edge. You can see all of this damage traded back, and you know that it could just end up in kills going either way, but it's still been rather low kills, all things considered, despite all the action we've had.
Yeah, I mean, like, Fuzzy Bunny actually did Mental Go Boom a huge favor there in casting Tidal Wave, because Sue was casting Reaping Slash and was almost going to certainly look for the additional knockup from Blade's Reach afterwards. It might have completely punished Mental Go Boom as though, okay, that's a Lux ult. Mental Go Boom almost died from the Lux ult.
Yes. That was just a Lux ult, for the record.
You can actually see G1 starting to build towards Rabadon's Death Cap, and I think once Death Cap gets completed, that might just be a one-shotting Lux ult.
Very potentially, yes.
Yeah, I mean, again, especially against someone like Fuzzy Bunny in particular, you have no defensive stats built outside of the health that your support item is giving you at the moment. Actually, Band of Glass Mirror does. No, wait, no. That's the other part of it. So yeah, Lux ult, really, Final Spark, just gonna live up to its name. It's gonna be the final thing you see before you die. But all of that being said, the gold still is incredibly close. The towers taken are relatively low for an almost 30-minute game. And okay, Sue.
Yeah,
he's like, you know what?
I'm gonna check this bush. Just make sure.
I've done this twice this game already. I should probably change it up.
Yeah. And then somehow finds a 3-man dog up on top of the control ward, but it doesn't really amount to much in the end. So a little bit unfortunate. But all things considered, we'll see what the next sort of development is in this one as third dragon. This is soul point for both teams, and it's going to be Steven's Little Gray starting that right up as quickly as possible, but let's see what happens. A little bit of a stalemate here. Shen is still split pushing up in that top side, so split or lane pressure still going well in advantage of Madison Esports Feta, but Puchin is taking about half their health already as Mental Go Boom starting to pull the trigger, saying, let's start to get this done quickly. We don't want to keep getting poked out here. Puchin is going to look for it. Who's going to get the smite? It's going to be Su20 who's picking it up. Going to be a huge final chapter as well. On to 3 members. Final Spark has already been used, but Puchin is up in this front line taking so much. Cloudfield tanks. It's a 3-man taunt, but Su going to pick up the first kill of that fight. Latako has gone golden as well. Lux able to pick up the second one. Latako running for the hills as Hispanic King able to pick up the third kill. And Shen joined that fight at just the right time. That's a 3-for-0 in favor of Madison Esports Feta, and they are moving right over to that Baron with no fear in the world.
Yeah, RareAdam, this game just got blown wide open as Madison Esports Feta take a commanding fight. They go up to the soul point. They still have the smite charge ready for Su, and they are on this Baron.
Yeah, they are going to just start up this Baron. No real contest to be had here because you can see it is just the Nami and the Lucian up and available. Fuzzy Bunny going to drop a ward just to say, is something happening over here? The answer is going to be no for the time being.
Yeah, and off of that, it is now roughly a 5k gold lead for the side of Madison Esports Feta, going to a commanding lead in this game. And yeah, that was just purely superior team fighting that they showed there. They pulled the trigger. And one thing I think is super significant is that Su just goes in. He goes straight into the pit. He looks for the steal. He gets it. But even then, if the steal hadn't happened, they were ready to fight. No matter what was going to happen, Madison Esports Feta were committing to the fight, and that was the problem, I think, for Steven's Little Gray. They weren't sure what they wanted to do. The only thing that they had in their playbook was get the dragon. And because they weren't coordinated and weren't properly setting up to look for fight, they ended up losing both of those things.
Yeah, unfortunately going to lose both of those objectives, and Fuzzy Bunny forced the flash over that wall. Su is very scary right now. 3 items on this Kane. The Lux as well, 700 gold, shut down 4, 1, and 4, 296 CS, almost a 10 CS a minute. A great rate.
Oh my
Lord. 5, 1, and 4 actually. That's going to be Mental Go Boom hit by a light binding and an ultimate and dying.
Yeah, health bar go boom also in that case. Just like, that was what, 2 abilities?
That was 2 abilities, quite literally.
Yeah. You did see he tried to dash out of it, but it looked like Lucian's hitbox wasn't quite out of the AoE there, and yeah, as you said, goes completely into the dirt there. And I think one thing that is happening as this push is getting going now in the bottom lane for Madison Esports Feta, the composition of Steven's Law Gray doesn't have a great deal of wave clear, especially against the Baron's up team. The Victor Death Ray is not nearly going to be good enough into a Baron's up wave, and after that, your only wave clear mechanic is the culling. You really don't want to have to use that to kill minions if you don't have to. So Steven's Law Gray, they are in a very dire spot as the Siege has now reached their bottom inhibitor turret.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Here comes a big tidal wave, though. Culling gonna come across Su. Taken down quite low, but look at the size of that Stand United shield. Su20's full HP going into Latako there. Gonna get that Reaping Slash kill once again. Might be taken down here, but Yumi's going to be there to give him the zoomies. Number 2, Ginger, though, able to get 1 kill in reply onto the Caitlyn as Puchinus takes another 800 HP from one of those Lucent Singularities. Still a 4v4, but they go golden here. Cloudfield gonna get hit by that Aqua Prison, and a great flash to get out of there as well, but Puchinus now taken down quite low. Su still looking for more, but Zach has... Ooh, detached there. Great flash once again out of Mental Go Boom to try and stay alive. And number 2, Ginger staying alive by a sliver of health. Mental Go Boom will pick up 1. Zach gonna try and run for the hills, but Juwon gonna pick up another one. They are unstoppable. 6, 1, and 5 on this Lux. Cloudfield still in this fight. Quite low, so is Zach. Not a whole lot of health, but it does not matter. They will get their prize, which is only a tier 3 to be fair, but they have put the pressure on the side of Stevens Law Gray as they look to push down this base. And with Infernal Soul spawning in 25 seconds, man, there's a lot more at stake than just that.
Yeah, Sue is just so darn slippery as this Kayn. Using the combo that you mentioned, throw the Yumi on the Kayn, the healing is immense. You throw the Shen Shield on top of it, and the guy just can't die. It was, what, like 1.5, 1.6k health and shielding that Sue got. And yeah, it's super, super hard to play against something like that, especially when you once again take a look at the inventory of Stevens Law Gray. They don't have shield cut. They don't have a ton of grievous wounds. So Sue is really having a field day with this.
Oh no, shot! They steal the dragon with the final spark, and that is Infernal Soul going down. And that might just be the game. Puchin is, though, going to get that first kill there, but it will be Sue picking up the kill onto Latako. Mental Go Boom in trouble. Sue has so many shields. Oh, my goodness. Even the shields coming out from the Lux are massive. Puchin is going to try and get out of that one. He might just have enough movement speed, but Mental Go Boom trying to lifesteal off of those minions. That's not going to be enough. The steal from G1 going to just make sure that the game is for sure over. Puchinus with that Steric Shield will still actually going to be able to find refuge in the base, but that's going to be the only one to live to tell the tale. It will be Madison Esports Feta picking up a very commanding Game 1 win.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a slow start for both of these teams, but I think you'd agree with me when I say this. In this game was so tremendous around those dragons. The decision making, the coordination was huge. I will say, Stevens Law Gray, they found a few opportunities for themselves, stacking up in bushes, looking to punish Sue, but eventually, like, this tide, the Yumi brings, the Caitlyn, who stayed mostly untouched in laning phase, but most of all this Lux, right? Lux only died one time in lane, right? G1 got punished for not having flash, and then afterward didn't die a single time throughout the entire game. And I think that was the first blood at that. So after that, G1 still ended up exercising so much control in this game as this Lux, having huge amounts of AP, massive amounts of pen, almost completing their build in 35 minutes, which is huge. And it speaks for itself when you can see those final sparks coming out every 30 seconds and still practically one-shotting the squishy members on the side of Stevens Law Gray. Huge Game 1 from Madison Esports Feta.
Just so strong once they got that first dragon. Actually, that was even the second dragon fight, I believe, is where they got their first couple of kills there. And the more that G1 was able to farm up, the stronger they got. And honestly, great game coming out from Cloudfield as well. Really well played on that top side of the map to neutralize the Camille as much as possible. But we'll have to see if they're able to get a repeat performance in Game 2, or if Stevens Law Gray will sort of fix up some of their mistakes and come back with a Fury. We're going to go to a break, but when we're back, Game 2 draft will be underway. And welcome back, everyone, to Style Esports Season 9 playoffs with Madison Feta versus Stevens Law Gray. My name is RareAdam. Alongside me is True Tobago. And we're already into picks and bans right away because these teams are ready to get back into it. Stevens Law Gray looking to pick up or even out the series, whereas Madison Feta just trying to dust this nice and clean off. But Viego and Trundle already picked up here, True Tobago.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can see slight adjustments in the bans between games 1 and 2. Stevens Law Gray, although they are on the same side, now electing to take away G1's Lux as well as Sue's Kane. Make sure they don't get those huge picks that were just so difficult to play against in game 1. As you said, they locked in Trundle. I think it's always interesting to see an early Trundle lock, especially because this is in response to the Viego pick. That, you know, Madison Feta have already gotten. Like, Viego used to be able to solo lane, but now is just predominantly in the jungle. And I feel like a pick like Viego, Trundle doesn't necessarily neutralize that in a super meaningful way. So I think it's really interesting to draft just straight Trundle into Viego. But perhaps they feel like, you know, maybe taking away AD is really, really important. But, oh, there's the Seraphine. There's the contested pick. Seraphine MF bot lane. Going to be really, really hard to play against. No one likes playing against that much AoE and zone control that MF and Seraphine can bring to the table.
Yeah, and Misfortune, Seraphine, really strong combo when you think about their ultimates, because one of them is a long skill shot that charms everyone in a wide area. Another one is a cone in a wide area that kills people. So, you know, you toss two of those together and all of a sudden you get everyone just walking towards the beautiful song of death, so to speak. But the Maokai gonna get locked in here for the side of Stevens Law Gray. We were talking about how Zach and Fuzzy Bunny, both of them play Seraphine. This might be their answer to the Seraphine in the support position.
Yeah, Maokai does bring a lot to the table in the support. It's particularly in regards to using Sapling Toss to just own bushes, right? If you use Sapling Toss and completely zone the enemy's bot laners away from those brush, it's super, super hard to for the enemy lane to play because you effectively just made the lane smaller. If they walk into those brushes, they eat so much magic damage that it's just not worth it unless you can heal or shield that damage preemptively. That being said, one other small interaction that I want to point out between MF and Seraphine is Make It Rain does have a slow attached to it. And as long as you're just slowed a little bit, Seraphine's E will root you, or, you know, if it's a double cast, get the stun off. So that's just additional synergy between those two champions in the bottom lane. As far as synergy is concerned for Stevens Law Gray, the saplings can also set up Jhin fantastically for a deadly flourish. Or if you don't even want to rely on the saplings, just use Twisted Advance and stack your roots up. But we are here into that second phase of picks and bans. The Shen also being taken away from Madison Feta. Everything else seeming rather standard. No more Camille for Stevens Law Gray, worth pointing out. But yeah, Wukong as the blind pick in the top lane and Dr. Mundo into it. I consider that quite interesting. Particularly because... Actually, no, it makes a great deal of sense. Whoa. Is that Seraphine solo lane instead?
We'll wait. Always learn to not get too excited about hovers, but
true.
It's gonna actually get locked in here. So,
wow.
G1 gonna pull out the Seraphine instead and recon Misfortune. I mean, it's still a good lane. It's still a really strong lane.
Very powerful combo, anyway. Yes.
And one thing to keep in mind about that is, if Rakan goes in and Maokai is like, hey, I'll just Twisted Advance on you, all of a sudden, Rakan can just bring you all the way back into the team, and then you're kind of in trouble if you're the Maokai and you're the middle of the team, because this is not going to be as tanky of a Maokai as we're used to seeing. Sometimes we'll see that Imperial Mandate come through. Even if they go Aftershock and they go for that Locket, it's still not the same level of tankiness as you get from top Maokai.
Yeah, and then in addition to that, Maokai got nerfed in the previous patch. Like, Riot's really been trying to push Maokai down as far as his support power is concerned, reducing damage in particular that I can recall. But I do want to point out, this is the second time that Madison Feta has done this to us, where they like lock something, we're like, ah, yeah, that's support. Yeah, pretty sure that's support. And they're like, psych, it's mid.
And
playing with us.
Seraphine still provides that charm aspect where you can set it up, but now she has even better setup for it because you get Rakan ultimate, you get Rakan knockup, you get Seraphine ultimate, and then all of a sudden Viego's just able to sit there, auto attack everyone down, ask where she is because no one knows where is she. He doesn't even care how she is anymore. But feels bad, man. But Miss Fortune will just shred through everyone at the same time. So really interesting team fight comp coming out from Madison Feta once again. But Steven's Law Gray, a couple of interesting aspects. I want to point out the Orianna here. What does this Ori do into the Seraphine specifically?
The one thing that I can think of, right, is that Ori into Seraphine as a lane should not be super fun for Orianna. Her wave clear cannot match what Seraphine's can do, particularly because Seraphine's passive does bonus damage against minions. Her double cast means that she can just push waves without any sort of reserve. The only thing that she's gated by is mana, but Orianna is gated by that as well, and her damage and doesn't feel as great. The additional thing is that Orianna is super reliant on walking up for her auto attacks to clear out waves, especially early on. So I believe that in this case, number 2 Ginger, you're gonna have to be relying on Poochiness to really punish G1, as you did early on in that previous game. But this time around, you have got to apply pressure in a super meaningful way. Make sure the Seraphine doesn't get off the ground, because if Seraphine gets off the ground, especially as a solo laner, you have access to more gold, which is more AP, which means your heals and shield, like your healing and shielding is stronger, but your damage is also more significant. So it's something that I think nowadays a lot of people don't think about because you're so used to seeing Seraphine as a support that when you see solo lane Seraphine come along and actually start bursting you with a full combo, you're taken unaware by it.
Yeah, Seraphine mid lane does do a decent amount of damage. That's really where she was geared to be put. Everyone, Riot for so long was like, you know what? Seraphine's a mid laner. You look at her kit and you're like, Seraphine's a support. And they're like, okay, no, we're going to put more damage on her. And now they're like, Seraphine's a damage support. No, we're going to take away her healing. That's what we're going to do. Seraphine is a CC support. And they were just like, okay, whatever. Seraphine's going to be played support no matter what. But yes, it is quite strong. Sometimes we'll see that Rylai's come out first item for the Seraphine to set up for those roots, because their E will then root immediately and then stun after. So a couple of interesting build paths. But let's take a look at the top lane here. Dr. Mundo versus Wukong. This is a little bit of a different matchup in some ways, but also kind of the same that we saw last time. Instead of Camille versus Shen, it's just Dr. Mundo versus Wukong. Still tank versus carry. What are we expecting this game out of Lataco?
So Lataco, I think the Wukong pick into Dr. Mundo is kind of interesting because it somewhat neutralizes Dr. Mundo's passive, right? Being able to deny a single hard CC, and then you have to go pick up your canister, right? In this case, pre-6, Wukong is never going to proc that, which means Mundo is never going to think about that, doesn't have to worry about hard CC landing on him. What it does prevent, theoretically, is a Trundle Pillar from interrupting him. But as far as the 1v1 is concerned, both of these champions want to take extended fights, right? Because Mundo, you want to get your auto attacks off, you want to poke it, like you want to get your cleavers in, but then you also want to just press your E, get that defibrillator going, heal back while dealing damage. Wukong, on the other hand, you want as many auto attacks as possible, get your Conqueror stacked up. So it's really a case of, if one of these, between Cloudfield and Lataco, if one of them gets spooked or one of them takes a bad trade, that could completely set the tone as far as a 1v1 is concerned.
Yeah, I think it's going to have to be very carefully thought out in terms of how this top lane is played, because realistically, both of these fine gentlemen up in the top lane, one of which is a monkey and one of which is a lunatic, they can just go to farm it out, sit down there, whack each other a couple times, walk back to base, pick up, their full completed items, walk back top lane, whack each other a bit, whack all these minions, and be fine. But when you take into account the rest of the team, Dr. Mundo has as big of an impact in this team fight as this Wukong might, just by virtue of being Dr. Mundo and being that front line. So when we look at Jhin here, how does Jhin get through and do the damage that he needs to when there's going to be a Dr. Mundo up in his face and everyone else up in his face? How does Mental Go Boom have to play this game?
Mental Go Boom is frankly gonna be pretty scared to play this game, at least in my mind, because what he has to be aware of is that in the 2v2 in the bot lane, it can be fine, right? Like Misfortune Rakan versus Jin Maokai, okay, you can play your lane standard into that. Things can go even, things can go poorly or well. It really depends on just that 2v2. But as things break out into a more team fight oriented position, there are so many things that can punish you, not just the normal Seraphine ultimate, but like when you think about the interactions that has with passing through targets like the Rakan or like the Dr. Mundo, it means that Mental Go Boom has to be so careful, even standing at range. Like you can't even stand with your ultimate because you might get punished just for trying to ult from distance. But the other part of that is like, it's a pick that we haven't talked about a whole ton, is this Viego that Su has. It's a hard carry jungler. It can completely assassinate targets like Jhin and take them off the map. So Mental Go Boom, the most that he could be looking for as far as team fights are concerned is just using Curtain Call, lay down suppressing fire, help Wukong and the Orianna, get a huge shockwave off and then fight from there. But otherwise, if you don't have a super strong laning phase, you might just get blown up entirely.
Yeah, and we'll have to find out exactly how this Jhin will either flourish in a deadly sense or if it'll just flourish. But regardless, we'll be back with game 2 of Madison Esports Feta versus Stevens Lol Gray right after our break. Don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss this banger of a game 2. And a warm welcome back to each and every one of you here with us for our stream of Style Esports Season 9 playoffs. My name is RareAdam, alongside me is True Tabaga, and we are looking down the barrel of what could be a sweep, but what also could be a pretty interesting series as we get onto the Rift with Game 2 of Madison Esports Feta versus Stevens Law Gray. Of course, Game 1 went Feta's way. After a rather slow early game, they were able to ramp up and get to their final forms on the backside of a great Lux performance out of G1. But this game, a couple of more interesting pickups here for both of these teams. Notably, Maokai here gonna go for that Arcane Comet, so going for a little bit more of that annoying poke support style.
Yeah, I mean, with the sapling toss, those saplings can really just mount up in terms of damage, and because they have a slow attached to them, means that as long as you get the hit in, the Comet's almost always going to hit. In addition to that, the thing that Fuzzy Bunny needs to be careful of is sapling toss chews through your mana pool. If you use too many saplings in lane, it actually gives your opponents an avenue to look to get aggressive, because Maokai, your abilities are super important, especially Twisted Advance and sapling toss as far as fights are concerned. So yeah, don't use sapling toss too much, although you can see there Fuzzy Bunny roughly at 25% mana already. Yeah, having only landed a single sapling at this point.
Like, you say that, but then you see Fuzzy Bunny just tossing saplings into every bush. Of course, yeah. Doesn't look like they went for the Spell Thieves either, so not going to be getting too much of that regen in terms of the saplings. But for the time being, at least, just being as annoying as possible, popping that Guardian off of the Recon quite early as well.
Yeah, absolutely. One other thing is worth pointing out that we discussed is that Mental Go Boom elected to go like one of the standard things on Jhin nowadays, which is Boots 4-pot. So you have a lot of healing if the enemy tries to harass you, but you can also walk out of a lot of potential support engage maneuvers this early on in the game with the additional movement speed that the boots give you. And as Jhin, yeah, you can last it fairly easily. But otherwise, nothing too shocking as far as itemization or rune setup is concerned. Yeah, everything seems really standard. Fairly quiet start to this game. You can see, though, once again, Biscuit Gang on the side.
Oh my goodness.
Of Stevens Law Gray.
Every game, it seems like, just Biscuit Gang. They just love their cookies. That's what they want. And we'll have to see how this develops from there. But for the time being, once again, lane's going a little bit in favor of Stevens Law Gray, just sort of pushing up, doing whatever they so desire, and they just vibing for the time being.
Yeah. It looks like G1's taking a fair chunk of damage here. Oh, that might be a gank. Yeah, it will be.
I want to say that was exactly the same gank as Game 1.
Yeah, it was.
Just
come up from the bottom side. G1's favoring top.
Yep. Drop the domain, drop the pillar, and get the flash out of the Seraphine. And if we wanted to talk about a champion that you can punish a lot with that flash, it would be something like a Lux or a Seraphine. But this time, Seraphine not as, I want to say, OP of a champion. She's still quite strong, but she doesn't have, a 900 damage laser to kill everyone in her path. So yeah, getting the flash out of that and potentially punishing G1 now may be an avenue of approach for the side of Stevens Law Gray.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, Seraphine not as OP in the damage aspect compared to Lux, but what Seraphine does have is far more consistent shielding, very consistent CC. So that's what that's what Madison Esports Feta has to play towards in this game. But the thing that is supposed to compensate for the damage here is, the bullet time from MF. But then in addition to that, the damage that a Viego pick brings to the table. Viego, I think everybody at this point has experienced what it's like to play against the Fed Viego. Feels impossible to kill the guy. He's hyper mobile. He has a ton of damage, and he seems to just lifesteal through any burst that you put onto him. But right now, Sue is not fed. So that is a good thing as far as Stevens Law Gray is concerned. Make sure this Viego doesn't get off the ground. But Fuzzy Bunny has been outside of lane a fair bit in this game thus far, really trying to ward up the enemy jungle track this Viego, and I think that's something good. It's not something that really happened in the previous game.
Yeah, Fuzzy Bunny just being really annoying. That's sort of the advantage of having a tankier champion like Maokai as your support. You're able to walk around without fearing getting one-shot. As a Nami, if you walk around, you walk into a cane, you die. If you walk into a Luck, you die. If you're a Maokai, you know, maybe you still die, but maybe you force them to flash or something. Maybe you force, you know, a little bit more thought putting into that play. But on the top side, Cloudfield, level 6 here, has a little bit of that advantage coming through. Poochie's gonna show Sue how to take early dragons by taking that one down. Has the Sheen in inventory, of course, so a little bit safer there. But first dragon going over to Steven's Lilgray again.
Yeah, I mean, Sue doesn't want to remember that first dragon attack. I don't think he ever wants to remember what happened there, trying to do that early on in game 1 as the cane and ended up just getting executed. But Fuzzy Bunny did get an early back end, lost a little bit of XP for it, but he continues to just be a nuisance and, you know, try to get some tracking down, try to get some harass. That actually should stop the back. Yes, it does. You know, so be present, be roaming as a support, and try to, like, punish overextension, especially from G1. Like, the response here from Madison Feta, in my mind, yeah, this is where you really wish you were Predator or Rakan, because then you could be moving around the map faster. Oh, this should be a fight.
Yeah, actually going to be a good engage here from Fuzzy Bunny, getting the Twisted Advance. Number 2 Ginger is sort of charmed up, rooted up for a decent amount of time. Poochiness, though, going to flash forward, dip the fangs into the Seraphine. We don't want to go there, but regardless, going to be first blood picked up for the Trundle. As bot side here, Mental Go Boom taking a pretty heavy trait with Hispanic King, but not going to amount to much as Cloudfield does some business up in the top lane with Latako and then walks away while still on that old 2001 cell phone, is it? Maybe even earlier than that. As actually, Latako gonna go in for the Cyclone here. Ignite is taken down on Cloudfield, but no flash available for Latako. He didn't take that Summoner spell. Cloudfield still healing up, getting all those stonks up in action, as Poochines has shown up as well. Gets a good pillar down. A little flash over the wall, though, as Cloudfield has business to do elsewhere, and that is as far away from Poochines and Latako as possible.
Yeah, I mean, like, so after that first blood, you know, something to take inventory of was what resources were committed for it, and it was Fuzzy Bunny's Flash Ignite in addition to Poochines's Flash. So when this fight happens in the top lane, Cloudfield is able to just walk out of it. He does get, like, he is capable of healing a bit through the Ignite with his own ultimate. I mean, Mundo's ultimate lasts a significantly longer time than Ignite does. But then in addition to that, even though Poochines shows up to punish, the flash isn't available on the Trundle anymore, so Cloudfield's able to survive it.
Yeah, and on this top side of the map now, Latako gets a decent ward down, but Sue is looking for revenge on something or someone or whatever Viego was mad about today, you know. Dude goes through all the phases of every emo kid ever, most likely, as you know, he joined a metal band as well, so you know he's working through it. But regardless, Latako just gonna get some more visioned.
Yeah, but as far as game plans are concerned, I think both teams are playing towards their game plan. I don't think that I think the both of us can agree, right? Seraphine not gonna have the same, you know, power that a Lux has, like even in lane here. And then in addition to that, Cloudfield is not going to be as present in a macro sense on the Mundo as he was on Shen. So they are going to be a little bit more content with just sitting in lanes, trying to farm things up, and let things scale. I will say though, between Hispanic King and Zach in this bottom lane, I felt like a call had to be made where it's like either Zach, hey, go hard roam, try to suss out where Fuzzy Bunny is, to match and make sure that wherever the roam is, like you can equalize and we can stay safe, or just get aggressive onto.
Oh my goodness! Speaking of aggressive, that's a play that I'd make on Rakan. Zach going under the tower. Flash W Ignite. Get out of there as the Rakan picks up a kill on the top side. Cloudfield gets an assist, so you know, not the worst case scenario for the Dr. Mundo, but you know what, Zach, you have my respect.
I believe this will be first tower with that Rift Turtle. Get 2 more plates and they can just get 1 more. And Lataka does have TP available, but not going to use it to save turret here. At least I don't believe that'd be a good usage of that ability. And yeah, that's a very early first tower for this side of Madison Esports Fed. A 2K gold lead just off of that alone. Ooh,
Yeah.
slick.
Yeah. You know what? Zach had my respect before. Now he has my my
Attention.
I'm cheering for him. Woo, let's go.
Okay.
A non-biased caster, by the way. Cannot do that.
Admiration. Okay.
Yes. you know, Rakan just has a secret place in my heart.
It's all right.
It's secret because I hide it away because, people judge Rakan mains, but, just still looking for that Zaya, so, any Zaya. I'm kidding. Let's get back on track here.
Any Zayas in the chat, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, any
that's
Zayas in the chat as Juwon takes Shockwave, but really not enough damage to back that up. But Steven's Law great, despite having a little bit of a rough time on that top side of the map due to some great roaming from Zach. They will pick up their second dragon of the game, and now all of a sudden this Rakan in some trouble will be able to get out with the help of the Viego. But Hispanic King now gonna be popping that bullet time, and Fuzzy Bunny might have overextended just a little bit too far. Did not get the knockback. Su on the run here as Cloudfield moving forward with the Heart Zapper. Gonna pick up a kill there. On to Fuzzy Bunny is the Viego as Cloudfield comes through as well. Lataco teleports in, but way too late. Gonna be forced to jump out of there with the clone, and Madison Esports Feta picking up more and more on this map as Su finally strikes here.
Yeah, and as you said, I mean, like, it just looked like a little bit of an overcommit that Steven's Lol Gray did in this bottom side. Fuzzy Bunny, he had the ultimate going down. Oh dear, wait, Cloudfield might be dead.
Yeah, Cloudfield way too deep there, but the quickness is going to come through. Puchin is going to be having some hard eyes there, but unfortunately, Puchin is going to pick up a kill there at the end of it. 220 now under the tower with that Trundle, but might have taken a little bit too much damage. Heals up a whole bunch, though. Will take over the Orianna. Maybe going down, but nope. Heartbreaker gonna break Lataco's heart there as they're able to get out of there. All the pings of the question mark there. Everyone's saying, what is going on? As they pick up a double kill at the end of that one. And Su20 is off to the races.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, like, the comms are popping off as that is all happening there. Oh, okay, no, Su able to stay alive once again. But, yeah, I mean, like, that was just a massive fight. As far as, okay, the action's not over.
Yeah, Lataco's clone actually messing up Mental Go Boom as Zach looking for more, but it won't be enough as unfortunately everyone will run for the hills. But oh my goodness, that was almost very, very scary.
Yeah, I mean, like, it looked huge. I mean, the additional thing here is that you do see G1 does have that Leandri is completed in the inventory. And I think that's a really, really good choice as far as itemization is concerned for Seraphine, not just because it gives you the additional ability haste that Seraphine loves to have so you can get as many casts as you want, but Leandri's Anguish also lets you deal up to 12% bonus magic damage against champions that have more max health than you in addition to its own max health burn. So, into this comp, right, into something like Trundle, Wukong, Maokai, these champions that will definitely be having more health than Seraphine as time goes on, an item like that is huge, especially because it helps you partially neutralize the healing. But thinking about that bottom lane fight one more time as we seem to have finally hit a little bit of a lull state. Yeah, the TP coming in from Cloudfield to punish the overcommitment from Fuzzy Bunny, Mental Go Boom, was absolutely huge. But in that second phase of the fight, where Cloudfield oversteps under that tier 1 tower of the side of Steven's Lol Gray, it looked like a good punish, but this is what we talked about. You got to be careful of Viego. Especially when Viego's build is going to be like this attack speed on hit, like crit potentially, as far as like Su having that Kraken Slayer in his inventory is concerned. So yeah, the Viego is now 3-0, got so much gold, like 30 CS lead, and it will be massive, but this is a fight in the bot lane again.
Yeah, Puchiness tries to take advantage of a great ice pillar there onto Hispanic King, but Zach gonna pop the quickness to make sure everyone stays alive. Bullet time just to say goodbye to Puchiness, but up on this top side now, Su is here as well. Going into the mist, where is she, he says, is looking for that kill onto Cloudfield, but it will be Lataco picking that one up first. Su should be able to clean this one up in a little bit. Gonna be going on a rampage. And now Wukong up in the top side for the opposite team will push in that wave, but good 1-for-1 for the side of Lataco there, winning out on it. But here comes the Shockwave onto G1, taking a whole bunch of damage. Doesn't have the flash up and available, and it will be number 2 Ginger getting number 1 in terms of the kills on the board.
Yeah, number 2 Ginger, wears the sombrero right there, ults himself and pulls in G1. uh, Coordinates with Poochiness to make sure that the mid laner of Madison Esports goes down there. And now that Seraphine is 0-2, not even an assist in the pocket thus far. So definitely, especially compared to game 1, G1 has been very much neutralized. But as far as team fights are concerned, this Seraphine will still be very, very scary. And heck, even we saw even just being 0-1, right? Landing their ability, G1 landing abilities onto Mental Go Boom was very, very scary for the Jin. Like, I think he went down to something like 10% HP, just off of the couple abilities that were able to hit. But it looks like Dragon's going to be spawning here. It's actually another Infernal map.
Oh my
So
goodness.
this could be another catastrophic game if Madison Esports once again has those really coordinated fights. Shockwave is available, though, for number 2 Ginger, even though it was used. That ability is on a very short cooldown.
Yeah, but on the flip side, though, Bullet Time is going to be up and available in about 5 seconds here. Heartbreaker not going to be available for the Viego quite yet, so we'll see what happens here, because last time this is sort of where the side of Madison Esports Feta were able to start to pick up some dragons, and here they've gotten a gold lead off of everything except for dragons now, and they're going to be able to pick this one up to give themselves a little bit more stats. 4,000 gold in the lead as side of Stevens Law Grey going to try and get some damage down onto this mid turret, but they think they think better of it. That's what I was thinking of saying. As Cloudfield has no fear, just going to walk right up to it, and all of a sudden the mid prio has flipped, and this should be the tower picked up for Madison Esports Feta.
Yeah, I mean, you can't see...
Oh, yeah, Curtain gets called here as going to be a tower taken down. Sue going to be forced to get out of there as hit by the shockwave, but here comes the rest of the members. Oh my goodness, Bullet Time goes one way, Encore goes the other way, and all of a sudden this fight isn't looking so good for Madison Esports Feta. It is a casualty onto the Maokai, though. Is not going to be able to jump over that wall, but it's a 2-for-1. Oh no, it might be a little bit more as Zach going to get pillared up, chomped down. It's a 3-for-1 in favor of Stevens Law Grey as the ultimates going in all sorts of different directions, trying to practice how the compass is, pointing north, south, east, west. But unfortunately, the only place that they're going is directly down 6 feet under.
Yeah, although they were able to get that first Infernal Drake for themselves, Madison Esports Feta, they actually kind of got corralled by the grasping roots there from, Nature's Grasp from Fuzzy Bunny, because it completely forced them to walk forward. And yes, they get the tower off of it, but what that did was it allowed Stevens Law Grey to finally have a coordinated fight. They split the focus of Madison Esports. As you said, those 2 key ultimates, the Encore as well as the Bullet Time, went in opposite directions. Sue was forced to get out of dodge because he got chunked out super, super hard. And that meant that SLG finally found their opportunity. They found a team fight win, and they got a lot of kills back into their pocket. But that being said, the gold lead is still firmly in the favor of Madison Esports Feta here as well. Yeah. It looks like they're eyeing the second Rift Herald.
Yeah, it looks like Sue's just going to solo that one down. Look at the damage. That was 3 auto attacks, and that's just a huge chunk of damage taken out of Rift Herald. That's kind of the power of Kraken Slayer on the Viego. But Puchin is going to make sure that it isn't taken without too much of a fight, might even let it reset. Also, completely unrelated to any of that, I realized I made the Cardinal Sin as a caster, and I said the curtains have been called for Jin's ult. Every caster I have ever heard says that, and I've started to flame them because of it, and I just did the exact same thing. Meanwhile, Mental Go Boom, though, will unfortunately, the only thing he's going to have over him is a drape. No curtains there as he gets taken down by Sue in very quick fashion.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we were referencing. This is how it feels to play Jin. Into this comp, especially when a Viego is fed and going. 700 gold bounty for Sue. And it went down to 650 for like half a second there. Yeah, but yes, they did get it before the Rift Herald despawned, which means they have a lot of time to play around with this. Like, they can pop it before a dragon, the next dragon spawns in order to create pressure, or they could just hope to hold it for a little bit and, see what opportunities they have. But, another neutral objective going the way of Madison Esports Feta here. And honestly, Sue is just looking scarier and scarier as time passes. As looks like he's working towards a GA as his third completed item here.
Yeah, if you want to protect that bounty, make sure they have to kill you twice. That's the mentality behind Su, I believe, here. But across the rest of the map here, it's really only Su who has that gold right now. And if we look at the gold difference here, that's where it is. It's 2,000 gold in the jungle. Everywhere else, there are minute to actual gold leads on the opposite side here. Orianna's actually about 1,000 gold up, but Seraphine might be taken advantage of by Pucciness here. He's going down. He's the troll with the plan, and the plan is to get out of there as G1 is able to back off in time. But Su has arrived on the scene. We'll see if this Viego is able to make any sort of ripples, but looks like the only ripples are going to be in the space-time continuum with that shadow, of course, as Infernal Dragon number 2 is going to spawn in about 35 seconds, but here comes the Subjugate coming down onto, I believe that was Viego, going to go golden for a little bit. No Shockwave going to come out, baits out the Heartbreaker, and Su will not have his ultimate up and available for this Infernal fight. Meanwhile, on the flip side, though, that's 3 ultimates used by the side of
SLG.
Stevens, lol, Gray. Yes, there we go. Still figuring out my names an hour into this series.
It's all right, but Cloud, as you said, this dragon is spawning up. Cloudfield has come down, and G1 TP'd back in after getting a reset. You know, got the mana back into the inventory. Su, little bit chunked out, so it looks like they don't want to hard commit to the dragon. But
never mind, Zach is gonna get a 3-man charm and the Seraphine ultimate to follow it up. Cloudfield picks up 2. Cloudfield is claiming victims, a triple kill for the Dr. Mundo. Don't tell him he's not an actual doctor, because he's going sicko mode on you here. Mental Go Boom under this tower, trying to contest with Cloudfield. Mental Go Boom will live, so the Mental will not go boom. The rest of his team goes boom. Cloudfield's actually chasing this one down. I spoke a little too soon. Here comes Dr. Mundo throwing a briefcase. That's going to be an unofficial quadra kill for the businessman. And that's going to be a clean ace across the board for the side of Madison Esports Feta. And just as last game, you drop the first 2 dragons, you pick up the next 2, and all of a sudden you walk right over to that Baron to continue pushing forward that advantage.
Yeah, and then in addition, like the reason that fight breaks out, at least in my mind, is because Stevens Lol Gray, they realized that the Rift Herald had been called, so they're like, oh wait, maybe we need to peel back, we need to respond to the pressure, and that allowed Zach to find a huge engage. Oh,
the Shockwave only hits Cloudfield there. Not the best target of that. Juan goes golden though, as Hispanic King is gonna get dropped. Oh my goodness, Pucciness steals the Baron, but the fight is still going very much in favor of Madison Esports Feta. It is a shutdown though, going into Latako's favor. Gonna be a second kill picked up by this Wukong as well, and he is running for the hills. Cloudfield will be able to chase them down eventually, but oh my goodness, Jawan's able to pick that one at the end of it. But it is a 3 for 2 in favor of Madison Esports Feta, but crucially, they do not pick up that Baron, and their pushes have been quashed, at least for the next, as long as Pucciness and Mental Go Boom are able to stay alive.
Yeah, I mean, Pucciness is able to just saunter into the Baron pit, get that smite off. And, you know, it was absolute tragedy for the side of Madison Esports Feta because the rest of the team kind of got their focus split off. Su stayed on the Baron, but G1, and I believe Hispanic King as well, at least, they had to start worrying about Latako because they saw him on the side. And the DPS on the Baron dropped. Pucciness walks in, gets the smite off. They steal the Baron. Kills do get traded back to a certain degree, but that is a huge breath of relief if you are Stevens Lol Gray there. Getting that Baron helps you survive much longer in this game. Although, something that is crucial about that is that the Baron buff will expire by the time this next Infernal Dragon comes up, so they won't have those combat stats available.
Yes, and for the time being, even though they do have those combat stats, you can see their side of the map is still a little bit dark. Looking at the vision that has been set up here, you can see that it's Pucciness sort of walking into darkness here. They have a general idea of what's happening in their bottom side of the map, but their top side, still a little bit of a mystery. So, despite them picking up that Baron, what can they really accomplish with it?
Yeah, I mean, it does seem to be fairly defensive in nature. Is that doesn't look like they can get their members out onto the map in a super meaningful way. As you said, the map for the side of SLG is dark. But to talk about vision really quick, I think it's really, really incumbent on us to recognize that Zach has been doing a tremendous job this game. 73 vision score in a 25-minute game, especially when you compare it to Fuzzy Bunny, the enemy team support, who has 33. It's matched up with Poochyness in the jungle there. So Zach having more vision score than the jungle and support combined on the other team is tremendous. And I think, it speaks for itself. That being said, though, looks like SLG, they're trying to exercise a little bit more control in terms of vision. They have swept out their blue side. They have put, wards on camps at a few entrances, and they are trying to get that offensive vision down in the enemy team's red jungle.
Yes, and while Zach didn't get my heart with the rune choices, is getting my heart back once again with the vision score. Of course, I have a couple of plays on this channel where I did overextend for vision, but we won't talk about that here. It's not my game,
It's okay. I'm a support main too. Supports, like I saw a meme a while ago. It's like, you guys int to limit test, I int for vision score.
Correct. As a Cloudfield, not inting at all by taking that heavy trade with the Wukong there. 5-2 and 5 on this Dr. Mundo. Had a great game on this Shen. Had a couple of rough times in the laning phase, but this game has sort of just been controlling the pace of this top lane for the entire 27 minutes that we've been in here.
But there are pings going down onto this mid lane. It did seem like SLG wanted to find something to potentially punish Hispanic King and Zach. But to touch on what you were just discussing about this Mundo, yeah, it's pretty impossible for Latako to find, a good fight versus this Mundo now. You have almost a rank 3 ultimate available, you have Spirit Visage, but then you also have a completed Thornmail. So Wukong, he's not really going to be able to heal back super well with Conquer and his own passive regen. And there's so much armor and MR here, his own damage doesn't feel great even with the Sunderer.
They're definitely starting to hemorrhage out a little bit of that advantage, even with the Sunderer. But here comes the Nature's Grasp. It's going to be Su's time to try and steal it away, and he does it again! 2 games in a row, stealing away that third Infernal Dragon. Cloudfield's going to be able to flash out over the wall as Zach able to kite that one out, but Su in a bit of a pickle. Has that Steric Shield already popped. Still has the Guardian Angel if necessary, but a great sapling going to slow up Su. He's going invisible. Will get smote down as they wait that one out. Not a great third shot, not a great fourth shot, but Latako's going to clean up another kill onto the Viego. But once again, the steal comes through for Su20 on that third dragon, and Soul now in the eyes of Madison Esports Feta, 4.5 minutes away.
Yeah, absolutely. Su and Cloudfield able to get inside the Dragon Pit and give themselves the opportunity to go up to Soul Point now for the side of Madison Esports Feta. And that's once again 3 Infernal Drakes stacked on the side of the blue team here. But one thing that is significant that has happened this game that didn't happen last game is that Steven's Law Grey fought back around this dragon. Like, they didn't completely crumble after it got stolen away. So after it got stolen, they were like, oh wait, Su and Cloudfield are here in the pit. Poochyness, Mental Go Boom, like, try to deal with that. The rest of us will pressure the rest of us will pressure G1, Hispanic King, and Zach, and that's exactly what happened. The Encore didn't find a single target, so they split the fight, and they found a little bit of an opportunity. They got the kill onto Su, but while that is a significant silver lining and it shows that they're confident enough to fight back, they are still in a rough spot overall in this game.
Yeah, and speaking of rough, what is happening with our spectator client? As now we're getting pauses every 30 seconds. I think there was a pause that we sort of just ran through, and that might be what's causing the issues. But G1 gonna get a root down onto Poochyness. Here comes the charm, though. Fuzzy Bunny has just exploded. Hispanic King is on the board with another one there, as now that puts a lot of pressure for the side of Steven's Law Grey to try and defend this Baron. It will be a 4v3 for the time being, but Su is on the hunt. Spectral Maw gonna come down, and into the backline goes Zach. We get the nice freeze frame of number 2 Ginger going gold in there. Momental Go Boom will be boom. That's gonna be number 2 Ginger taken down as well, and Latako on the back end of this fight doesn't have an opening to find the Cyclone.
Yeah, I mean, Lotako is here, as you said. Oh, goes invisible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Zach
and
is.
it looks like they just have to walk it out. And
Yeah, Zach
they
is
stopped the
zoning.
Baron. Yeah, they stopped the Baron attempt, which is really, really important for now, that is. But Cloudfield has just been pushing this entire time, and whoa, look at that infected Bonesaw doing so much
Oh
damage
my
to Fuzzy
goodness.
Bunny.
Yes, and I think I'm falling behind because of, spectator bugs and the like, but Zach is just
Ah.
trying to stall out time here around this Wukong with this Poochie-ness, but Poochie-ness has taken them down quite low. Looking at the health of Baron right now, down to about half, and once again, reset.
Yeah, I mean, like, that is a win in the side of SLG's book. They don't get the Baron, but what does end up happening is that Cloudfield ends up having a field day in the bottom lane, able to just push in, take turrets, and now the base has been cracked open and the bottom lane inhibitor has been exposed. But the other thing that, like, I would say that SLG have to be super aware of is that Cloudfield still has TP. He had
And
TP
for
that
it.
entire time. And I would say that Madison was like, look, don't even worry about TPing. We'll do the dance. We'll go through the motions. And we'll split their focus, and you just keep pushing, buddy. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, Cloudfield able to break open the base a little bit more, of course. That's not... That inhibitor tower will not come back up. That's gone forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like, it does seem now that the lead has finally been growing past that 3K, that 4K point, and now is firmly at roughly, 6.5K in the favor of Madison Esports Feta. But look at the map, look at the timers. That Infernal Soul or Madison Esports is going to be coming up in just under 45 seconds here. So this could be a game-ending fight, or it could be SLG just holding on if they're able to find a way in and secure it for themselves.
Yeah, and Poochie-ness and Fuzzy Bunny are in the area trying to do what they can, but Cloudfield says, I'll do what I can, which is slam my briefcase against the ball that is on top of that tower. At that point, I don't know canonically how tall towers are supposed to be, but at this point, Mundo has to be like 12 feet tall hitting that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, like, the thing is that, Cloudfield can just push this with zero regard for any damage going onto him because he has that Warmogs completed. Oh, dear.
Oh my goodness, a great root landed there onto Fuzzy Bunny as they are blown up. Lotako trying to get on top of Sue here, but unfortunately, Curtain Call fires one shot and says, I'm out of here. Lotako gonna try and do what they can, but this might just be Infernal Soul giving up. Poochie-ness is nowhere in the area, no flash available, and Cloudfield is here. That's gonna be Infernal Soul. A 4-stack going over to the side of Madison Esports Feta. And there's another word that starts with F that kind of describes how SLG is feeling right now, considering they're facing a 4-stack Infernal Soul. It is flabbergasted because they're going to be going over to this Baron and potentially losing that as well.
Yeah, I mean, like, they have, like, Madison Esports Feta, they have the Infernal Soul in their pockets. Cloudfield continuing to zone, like he can just pop ult and stand in their faces. Oh my lord!
Oh my goodness! Mental boom! No, he goes down in the 1v4 to Cloudfield. Cloudfield will go down as unfortunately the investment bank did crash. Everything is gone, all of his money, but he's still got 5 items. As unfortunately for Mental Go Boom, yeah, that happened.
Yeah, ADC in 2021.
Lol.
But like all jokes aside, right? Mental Go Boom. You're Jin. Cloudfield is a very much like build completed now. Dr. Mundo. You do practically 0 damage to him, and the moment that briefcase smacked him in the face, he was like, "My time has come." The Infernal Soul procced, and yeah, Mental Go Boom just could not survive in that situation, even with all of his teammates there in the round. Oh, dear.
Oh no, number 1 Ginger going to get stopped by Su20. A flash Q there as well at the end for a couple of style points, and my goodness. Viego's fed too, by the way. He's 7-2-1,
Oh, yeah.
267 CS.
Yeah, I mean, like, this entire series has just been massive statement from Sue here, with these carry jungle picks just being absolutely massive, both on Kane and now again on Viego. And Back gets stopped.
Yep, Lataco's in trouble. There's 2 Wukongs there, but only 1 Cyclone and no life, unfortunately, as Hispanic King picks up that another kill there. Su-20 going to take over the Wukong as well. Cloudfield goes where he pleases. Walking right through as onto the backline goes Zach, getting the 2-man knock-up there. Going to be another kill for the Viego as Cloudfield still tanking up these towers. Has no care in the world, and Pucciness going to be the next one to fall. Zach going to pick that one up. Into the Nexus Tower, will they go? Will they go in? Okay, no, Cloudfield can tank 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots of that. You know, you got some time to pick up a kill, but looks like Mental Go Boom trying their best to cut through Cloudfield. It is just not enough. This Dr. Mundo is a little bit too scary.
Oh, no.
The charm going to come down, and G1's on a rampage. That's going to be the series going over to the side of Madison Esports Veta. Game 2 a little bit longer, but the same result as it is going to be a 2-0 for MEF.
Yeah, Madison Esports Feta, they played things pretty slow in those laning phases. It did look a little bit back and forth, but consistently across both of these games, they took a calculated risk and said, okay, go ahead, take those first 2 dragons. We will have superior team fighting around objectives, and that's exactly what they executed on time and time again. Su got huge early on in this game, Cloudfield as well, getting massive, and that really meant that the entirety of SLG could not find a way in. They didn't have many tools to pressure, they didn't have many tools to engage, but then even in addition to that, when the Jhin falls behind, it feels practically, useless in the face of like how tanky and how much engaged and how hard MEF were able to dictate in this second game.
They were just able to control the pace of the game, to control the pace of the series, honestly. They were quite
Absolutely.
the juggernaut, to say the least, but regardless, unfortunately for Stevens Law Gray, while their season isn't over, they will have a tough task in front of them. They are going down to that losers bracket. Still yet to be determined how all of that's going to work out, as was stated by the league. It's going to be some reseeding happening to make the games as fair as possible for the number 1 seed. I think after last season, where the number 1 seed kind of got bounced in the first couple of games, they wanted to reseed and everything. But regardless, we will have to see what the rest of playoffs have in store for us, but that's basically going to wrap it up for us here at True Tobago. What are your final thoughts on today's series?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, Stevens Law Gray, they end up falling into that losers bracket, but even though they are in that losers bracket, their backs are definitely against the wall. They can't drop another series. I would say, look, your laning phase was decent into this in this entire series, right? Like, play towards punishing even harder, be super aggressive, and dictate the pace of the game early on, especially if you're against opponents that seem to be able to team fight very competently. For the side of Madison Esports Feta, it's very much a state of, hey, you guys have super good team fighting, but if you are ever pressured super early on, I really wonder like how that superior team fighting might look when you guys are at a profound deficit after the early game. So shore up those early game, weaknesses, or be willing to play a bit more aggressively, and perhaps it's going to be very difficult to defeat you. But I think this is a really exciting start to playoffs, or for at least for me. I know there have been a couple of series played so far, but as a caster casting this series, this was a really exciting start to it all. And yeah, I'm really excited to see how things play out.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how it all works out, but at the end of the day, that will wrap it up for us here. Once again, from everyone at the Style Esports here, myself, as well as my co-caster today, True Tobago, I want to thank you all for coming out and supporting our stream. If you haven't dropped a follow yet, what are you doing? We've got League of Legends actions almost every day for you now. And if you are so generous to do so, please press that subscribe button. We also have a Patreon if you want to join our Discord. You can maybe get some perks with me shoutcasting over your clips or something. I think that's one of them that we were talking about. But regardless, that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. We'll see you tomorrow when we have some more Style Esports action on the Rift. But Until next time, everyone, be good people and stay hydrated.